Welcome to Game Soup, it's a game time podcast where we throw ideas in a pot and see what's cooking. I'm Chloe Montgomery and I'm joined by your puppy girl's puppy girl.
Kayla Dice.
Are you not puppy girl?
On a podcast I will neither confirm nor deny that.
We can go with a different intro if you want.
I don't know, I think on one hand it's like a really obvious fact about me, on the other hand...
Admitting it says something about yourself.
It's what I always go back and forth on how comfortable I am with like an audience, inverted commas, like knowing anything about me. Like in the case that I'm like, yeah, the more an audience knows you, the more they feel like they like actually know you and they like you, and that means they're more likely to like go in on stuff. And also, I in general am a naturally quite expressive person who likes to talk about a bunch of my own stuff going on. But I also then feel like this weird desire to like sort of do a hot and cold push and pull where I'm like, but you don't actually know me.
Well, Biscuit Fun Games encourages parasocial relationships, and if you want to prove that you are one of my friends, you can go to patreon.com/GameSoupPod.
This is the thing, I don't, like, yeah, it's me worrying that, so, like, I'm fine with all this, like, stuff on its own, but then I'm like, if someone came up to me who I did not know and had just listened to this podcast and tried to do, like, a puppy girl joke, or even just tried to do a joke about, like, oh, Kayla, who's annoying, I'd have to be like, we don't know each other. Why? I am fundamentally a stranger.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that is absolutely me being a sort of, like, it's a bit rum-tum-tugger, you know?
I don't know what that means, but...
it's like, you know...
I'm going to say you like the benefits but not the negatives.
It's like, I'm always, I am always more interested in the thing I'm not currently doing.
Right.
You know, I am just, I think, in at least some senses about, like, presentation.
You're a contrarian.
Myself, right? Yeah. It's, I also assume some of it's, like, a holdover from stand-up stuff, where, like, stand-up is so, like, making the audience think they know you, but unlike influencer stuff, or even just general parasocial stuff, it is, like, locked to a certain confines, which is not an interaction as well. It's like, you get to look at me and think you know me because of that, and then you go home and you don't speak during that time. Welcome to Game Soup!
Kayla hates you.
I don't hate the audience. I like the audience. I am so on board with the audience. I've enjoyed many, like, and obviously, to be fair, some audience members do know me. So, hey, shout out to you if you are a friend of mine. But otherwise, if you don't, like, I like you. I don't hate you in any way. We don't know each other. And you get a sense of the shit that goes on with me, and I'm aware that I'm, like, a character. But, like, that's the nervousness with your puppy girl's puppy girl.
Well, you're nobody's nobody. It's Kayla Dice.
Hi.
So, you've been working on Out of the Fold this week, I'm told.
I have. By the time this episode comes out, and I'm genuinely not sure because I also need to do layout, is the chance this game is out or is, like, ready to come out soon? I don't imagine I'll do much, like, advance hype for the game other than, like, tweeting and talking about it while I'm making it. But, like, yeah, and otherwise then it's like, I'll just send some post-release press. I'll send some with-release press stuff. But yeah, I have most of Out of the Fold written now. In fact, the only thing left to do is, like, a handful of sort of obstacle prompts, which are all sort of branching prompts where, like, it's the rank and then, like, the exact thing that's in it changes a bit on the suit just to make my life easier. I did a cover.
Yeah, I saw it. It's cool.
Thanks. Yeah, and, like, a nice new logo stuff. Yeah, it's got a fun list of, like, inspirations, because, like, I sometimes I, like, break down inspiration lists very granularly, and other times they're just, like, a big inscrutable list. And here I did actually break down everything where I'm like, oh, I stole, like, this. I stole the way, like, character classes got done from Laurie's game, Witch of the Westmoreland. I stole, The way you can sacrifice yourself is from stealing the throne. Oh, I stole this flashback scene thing from, like, Minerva. So, and then I'm also just like, I guess I was also thinking of the Bourne Identity a bit. You know?
And, you know, with schools, like in the Owl House.
Yeah, I do need to add, like, I think I do need to add some more, like, general tone things. I don't know, I don't need to. But, like,
No.
yeah, the game is so close to done. I genuinely really like it, and I also like that I've just managed to do the knocking something out I said I would. I think it plays in a fun way.
Yeah.
I know I said I wouldn't, like, playtest this, because the point was for me to, you know, prove to myself that I can knock things out. But I do think, because I've started going to, like, a queer games meet in my local area, which does RPGs sometimes. So I might run it there sometime, because that'll probably be fun. How have you been, Chloe?
I'm good. I'm stressing about deadlines for things I can't talk about. I can't reach out for connection from anyone. And, yeah, it's great. It's lots of fun.
I'm sorry about
It'll be done either today or never. So, the deadline's like Sunday, but I have work the rest of the week, so...
Yeah. Also could be worth, you know, voicing, like, your own worries about the deadline to people in a sort of, hey, here's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they'll listen to this and be like, oh shit. But...
Well,
but she only sent it to us 4 days ago.
Well, that's the really hilarious thing, because this comes out on a Saturday. We lost our backlog, so currently we are, like, the week of recording is the week of release. So that is either, like, they hear that and it's like the deadline is tomorrow and you've not sent something in and they're like, aww.
Oh, fuck.
Or they hear this and we're like, oh, she didn't need to worry that much. Like,
yeah, no, it's all great. It's all perfect.
Like, you've already done it, but they were just like, oh, I mean, you could have had another week if you just asked.
Yeah, listen, they've got all of the notes that I need to implement into the actual body of the text are there. It's just using my brain to make the words good.
Is it just like the grunt work of writing?
Pretty much. Like, I need to make a map system, which is very much just like, draw a map of your childhood house. And, like, some character generation stuff, which is, like, all really obvious stuff. But it's... I'll manage it. I just need lots of cups of tea, and we'll probably start smoking because of it. No, that's a joke.
Don't you have, like, super asthma? Also, like, I don't want to lose my reputation as the cool one who smokes of the podcast.
Is that your reputation? Okay.
I think people do think of me as the cool one.
Wow. Which one am I then? The sexy
the
one?
Smart one.
Like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. You are sexy. But also I was like, yeah, cool one, smart one.
So do we have any ideas going into this week? I, like, tweeted some shit, but I don't know if it's workable.
You had mentioned a bunch of random ideas to me. I could bring any of them back. Because I think we had a couple we could have gone into, but then we ended up doing the Out of the Fold episode last week. So, like, we could revisit some of them.
I mean, I've just been reading... My copy of Usabe has arrived this week, so that's kind of all I've been thinking about.
Yeah, so you did some...
Somewhat.
I saw you did some Magic the Gathering arts. I then just reminded when you messaged me an idea, and the way I replied to that idea was, do you want to do each other on the podcast? And that's what made me laugh.
So what was your idea?
This wasn't my idea. Your idea that you messaged to me was about an Isekai game where it is you, and you're just, like, normal, and you are you yourself. I was like... And you were like, yeah, you write tags based on your actual strengths and weaknesses, your starting inventory is what you were bringing to game night. And I was like, this does feel like you decided Guy had too little bleed for you. You were like, I like Guy, I just wish I could bleed more. And your answer was like, no, it's a cozy game.
So, years and years ago, you got to understand this is like when the Trove was a thing. Shout to the Trove. I miss being a pirate. There goes our entire audience. Back when I was getting into game design, there was this series of books that, as far as I'm aware, have made no cultural impact, but they were called The End of the World. And in it, you played as yourself, trying to survive a bunch of apocalypses. Like, depending on which book you got, it was like an alien invasion, or robots taking over, or zombie apocalypse, or whatever. And
okay, yeah.
It was like tag-based, so it was like, you write, oh yeah, I'm good at climbing, I'm good at organising, whatever. And then you would write weaknesses to balance yourself out. It was like, oh yeah, I need medicine every day. I'm really empathetic, whatever. And then your friends would, like, add extra weaknesses tags to like, if something's too general, you're going to have, like, another weakness or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we do that, but instead of there's zombies attacking you, it's, you are in a little fantasy village. How do you provide so that you can earn your keep?
I feel this is like... almost feels like a game about very much confronting the idea of, like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's every Ask Reddit, you are transported 1,000 years back in time, how do you survive? As a game.
It's that, but also I feel like it does then have, like, things for society. I think I would find this game, like, really depressing as I have to put, like, weakness tags related to, like, fibromyalgia, where, like, my strength tags are ones where I'm like, well, these are only working in these times, these kind of rely on this person liking me. Like, I think it would really depress me.
Yeah. So I think it's a journaling game, probably.
Yeah, or I was going to say it's almost like a lyric game, it feels like. It feels like a game where you read it, go, wow, this is really beautifully designed. I feel playing this would damage my relationship both to my own sense of self, but also to anyone I tried to play it with.
So yeah, it has to be a solo game. I think it's like, you either come out of this game thinking, yeah, I could survive a medieval time, or like, damn, I need to work on improving myself so that I could survive without modern society. It's a very tradwife game, I guess.
Chloe Tradwife arc. We always knew it was coming.
Shut up. So, you are transported to Fantasy Village. What do you do, Kayla?
What do I do in a fantasy village? What skills do I have? I vaguely remember how to bake and would be able to probably do that without the aid necessarily of a lot of the recipes I have.
Yeah.
I'm trying to then think of jobs I've done literally where I'm like, oh, I was a teacher, so I could definitely do, like, childcare. But also, I think in general, if you're like, this strange woman creature from the future has arrived, should we trust her with our children? Like, that's once again you need to know me for a bit before
you need
like,
to engage yourself
she's great.
with the community.
Yeah, I can wrestle. I don't think, but also, I'll suffer the consequences for it on a bodily level. And, like, I don't know how useful it is, even if it didn't hurt. Because, like, we've transported a medieval... It's not like I've been transported to caveman times. Spears exist. It's not like I'm... If I get in a fight with someone, the wrestling shit is probably not going to come in handy.
Yeah.
Other skill. Am I, like, really missing a bunch of obvious skills I have? Am I being really mean to myself? And you're like, oh, but Kayla, you've completely forgotten you can fly. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I did forget that.
I don't know. Like, I think I'd probably just, like, get really into horses.
Yeah. That would make sense, actually. I don't think I'd be good at gardening. I do not...
I have started to enjoy gardening now. I've got a garden, so I could probably get into that.
To be fair, I did I used to actually do loads of gardening where I used to live, like, even if it was just sort of maintenance. But I don't think I could get into it and be good enough at it that, like, they'd be like, oh yeah, let's keep this kid around. Like, the sheer,
Yeah,
like,
I
labour
don't think
of
I
it,
could become like a
would.
farmer.
Yeah, I think that would screw me over. I
If
mean,
it's
like...
fantasy, can I, like, maintain, like, the local temple? Can I be a shrine maiden?
Of the, like, the roots of our trans ancestors.
Exactly!
Yeah, yeah, actually, part of me's now like, I reckon I could get really into medieval medicine. Like, don't get me wrong, useless as if I was to try and actually be a doctor, but I'm like, I've got decent first aid training.
Yeah.
Like, recently. Yeah, I think I'd become like a fucking medicine woman.
You'd just be like, why haven't you washed your plates? I'm definitely trying to get paracetamol. No other reason.
I think, like, yeah, that medicine is actually the area, because, like, yeah, we all suck at that by, like, the standards of anyone qualified today. But also, like, those cunts would be useless, because what? Oh, how the fuck are you going to sterilize your needles, shit, man? Like, you don't know this stuff. I know some first aid training.
You have, like, secondary school knowledge, and that is enough.
Yeah. I've got secondary school knowledge, I've got first aid training, and also I'm capable of bullshitting, and realistically, a lot of medieval medicine, like, job, that's definitely just placebo affecting people.
It's just vibes.
Like,
yeah,
like, the worst thing you can do is blink and go, oh god, I don't know. The best thing is, like, should be fine. If anything's wrong, just come back to me in a couple of days, I'll sort you right out. Like, and then they come back in a couple of days and I go, huh, your constitution must have been so much stronger than I expected. I could get so into diagnosing the humours.
And then just say it's a miracle cure. Yeah.
I could get so into the humours. So that's what I'd do. Yeah.
Yeah.
A humorist.
We've solved it.
Maybe this is why. Maybe this game would actually make me feel great about my. This makes it sound like I'm
smarter than a medieval
depressed.
peasant.
I realised, like, the way I was talking maybe made it sound like I'm quite badly depressed at the moment. I'm honestly not. More just that, like, you know, I.
Oh yeah, I guess I'd like lie in a ditch for a month as I came off my fluoxetine.
That is actually also the other thing. I would have to deal with all of my medication stopping.
So that's why I'm saying getting really into horses. Drink that pregnant horse piss.
I know, yeah. I know why you're saying get really into horses. Yeah, that's also the thing, like, yeah, because then it's like the body goes worse. This is interesting, but so grim.
So I'm writing this one down as Horse Piss Isekai.
Horse Piss Isekai, yeah.
What was the other idea that we had?
That's an interesting, because then there was me talking to you about the Balatro stuff loads, but I think there was some other game. We did talk about the PowerPoint stuff already, didn't we? That was the other idea I threw your way.
Dang.
Yeah, okay. Do we go to a Randy? Do we go back to UK Games Expo? Got like 8 minutes. I reckon we can bust out another.
Yeah, I'm not going back into that folder. It takes so much effort to edit them. I want you to pick a random sticker or something in your room. I know you have a bunch on your laptop.
That's a great question. The laptop I am using at the moment.
Yeah, I want you to pick the most top left sticker on your laptop. Tell me about it.
The most top left sticker on my laptop is so telling of me, and is a great one for this episode to have joined. So the most top left sticker on my laptop is one I got at Gen Con when I went to Gen Con last year on account of being a big Hotshot Award winner. And I found a stall where someone was selling stickers, because I was like, I got a new laptop around that time, and I needed to, like, I wanted to sticker it up a bit. And I found a stall where a person was selling stickers, which was art from various musical theatre shows, but edited to feature dogs. So this is a dog dressed like the lead player from Pippin with the slogan Magic to Do. So this is a dog musical theatre-based thing, and I'm aware that this just shows the fact that I am gay.
I'm just looking at what the hell Pippin is, I'm sorry.
Pippin is so much more interesting a musical than many people would assume, because it's very meta. I think I was confused it with other things. But yeah, it's like, it's this story about, like, Pippin, who's, like, the nephew of Chamberlain or something. But, like, the leading player and the chorus are, like, putting on the show and roping the character of Pippin into also being the actor playing Pippin. And they just frequently are, like, rewriting or changing stuff when Pippin is like, oh, we killed my dad, but now I'm really sad about it. And so he's like, oh, well, I'll just bring him back. And he shows up and is like, at the end, they try to tell Pippin to kill himself. They're like, hey, Pippin, I think you should do this great big finale. You get on this box and then it gets set on fire. It's like, oh, how does the trick work? It's a trick.
There's a trick?
No trick, buddy. When you do it, that's just going to be for real. So, why don't you go over to it, Pippin? Yeah. It's fun. I find Pippin really interesting, and I also find Pippin interesting in a way because I did a unit on Renaissance drama, which really should have been called early modern drama, like the plays we chose to study in uni, and it was talking about, like, meta stuff in plays. And it's interesting that, like, meta shit in different things is always very dependent on, like, the kind of genre it is. And it was saying that, like, meta theatricality in plays, like, never really plays out as, like, a character suddenly becoming aware they're fictional. It tends to become far more like an actor acknowledging they're performing a bit. Whereas, like, any meta stuff in a book is always, like, character realizes they're in fiction.
I'd say, like, and from my small knowledge of theatre, meta theatre would be, like, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, or I guess even, like, dramatic irony and, like, Romeo and Juliet. Like, you know that she's not properly dead, but...
Yeah, it's interesting. And this whole thing was like, oh yeah, we think of a lot of, like, postmodern stuff as, like, timed to that specific period, but, like, even back in an early modern era, they were sort of, like, tweaking with a lot of, like, meta stuff. And it's interesting then, because now I'm thinking, how does meta stuff work in RPGs? Because, like, you can... I think when you're playing an RPG, you can definitely do meta stuff that's kind of like a character line. Like, when you say a line that's only funny because of the knowledge you have out of the world, or... I remember I played a game of Inevitable where, like, we played, like, the first arc or two of it, and then we ended up getting merged with another group, and so, like, some of the events that happened to our characters got slightly retconned, and there was a conversation, me and another character at the end, where, like, we both just randomly decided and agreed that our characters had dreams about the events we played through, even though they didn't actually happen anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. Like, that's us doing, like, plot dialogue, but also there's this wink of, like, hey, remember this other thing that happened?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not a thing that necessarily can be done in, like, RPG books, because, well, they don't necessarily always have characters. But also they have an obvious author who is you. Yeah, unless, I guess, you did, like, a footnote or an editor at war with a character.
There's a fun thing in your Zabers where you get to, like, the safety tools bit, and it's, like, the start of the page is all very serious, like, here are the rules for living in the bed and breakfast. It's like, do not turn on the photocopier before 9 a.m. sort of shit. But then that page is torn out, and one of the characters, Hey Kid, just writes in their proper safety tools in, like, crayon. And it's like, be safe on the internet. Keep away from trolls.
Yeah, like, that kind of, like, diegetic stuff I really love, but it doesn't entirely feel like a sort of, like, breaking the fourth wall. It feels very hard to break the fourth wall of an RPG book because they don't have one. Like, by default. Like, it's probably more... To do breaking the fourth wall, you'd first need to build a fourth wall.
Yeah, like, I guess, like, you'd have to, like...
aren't written.
Write the entire book from, like, the perspective of a character, which is, like, not done.
No.
If it was, like, an in-universe, like, guides to catching ghosts or whatever, like, written by the Ghostbusters or whatever, and then the Ghostbusters are talking to you, like, of course, you could use these rules to play a sort of test, like a RPG sort of thing, based on our adventures. But you could also use it for catching actual ghosts.
Yeah, that's sort of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing. Like, you'd need to build a fourth wall before you could, like, you know, wink at it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because then it also made me think that, like, oh yeah, like, meta stuff in film and TV is kind of only ever a quick joke. Occasionally it's a twist, like people directly talking to 4-4 stuff, but, like, in general you don't get, like, character realizes they're fictional so much in films, because I guess there's the weird fact of, like, sure, the character realizes they're fictional, but we're not acknowledging that, like, this only makes sense because they are played by an actor still. Like, it...
Yeah.
Gestures, I guess,
like,
an
hey,
idea
you look
of...
like Hugh Jackman. It's like, no I don't. I'm me, Wolverine.
Yeah, but also you can't then do, like, the meta-theatricality where, like, it's played as if an actor's going off script. Like, you have, like, funny postmodern stuff, but, like, there's sort of the fact of, like, oh, we sort of know this has been left in and deliberate. Like, this being something that happens the same every time isn't so easily fucked with. I think... Forgot where I was going there.
Kayla does not think. Thank you for listening to
I
Games.
do!